Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Xa Talk Show. Today we are going to continue the advent of code. So we are going to code advent of code in Wolfram language. Yesterday it was a spectacular struggle. So yesterday we did, the past 2 days we are doing advent of code, live coding. So we did problem 1. Where's problem 1? Yeah, problem 1. Then problem 2 yesterday. Yesterday it turns out to be 3 hours affair. The first hour is pretty good. The first half hour, I was talking about programming languages. Many of you young people are wondering which language to learn. And, I was doing a bit rant on that. And also the meaning of hacker. So check out yesterday's video, meaning of hacker and what language to learn. Okay, the first hour. Then we are coding advent of code, analyze the problem. Then I was talking about the essence of mathematics, the issue of how do you convert a real life description, certain, some sense of the problem. How do you turn that into a mathematical description with precision? And that is a non-trivial thing. And that is the problem of the advent of code day 2. I think most of the advent of code problem is going to be like that. They describe it, in a kind of story-like way, and you have to turn that into a specification. Once you have a specification, then things are usually easy. Okay, so there are 2 parts of the problem. One is do an analysis, think about it, turn that into a spec. Then once you have a precise spec, then usually it's much easier. Then it's just about coding. So, but the problem of turning some fuzzy concept of the problem into a spec is very difficult. In fact, that's the essence of math. Okay, so yesterday we did that. Then it turns out, I had some problem with, modular arithmetics. It took 2 hours to eventually got the right answer. So here's the solution in Wolfram language code. Just basically one single line. That's a solution. Okay, and yesterday was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Today we are going to continue problem number 2. Every problem, there are 2 parts. So we solved the first one. We're going to continue problem number 2. Then we're going to do problem number 3. Okay, so now I got a taste of what this advent of code is. I'm just going to be relaxed. I'll try to do as much as possible today and try to focus on the problem. But don't worry, I'm not going to worry about, I'm going to do a good job and finish it fast and so on, because as they say, the process is the fun part. That we are doing this. TMI, hi, what's your keyboard is that? Okay, you must be new. So this is expose xali.info. Okay, so I want you guys to go to xali.info or xali.org. Okay, so xali.org is my central website. I had this domain for beginning in year 2000, so for 20 years now. Then it split into Xali Info about 10 years ago and others, but now it's and also split into many other domains, but now it's all back. So xali.org, then you have xali.info. Xali.info is all about math, programming, Unicode, keyboard, technical stuff, for those of you nerds. And xali.org is some other things: English writing, linguistics, literature, writing style, things like that, and songs. I talked about this many times, introduction to my website. So I like you guys to, those of you find me interesting, you want to, spend some time on my website, because usually it's a case, you got all these frequently asked questions, like almost for any YouTuber as well. People have questions, but you talked about that a million times. Okay, so Xali.info, then you go there, then there is, several videos. There's a keyboard, okay? So this is, there are right now currently 1,000 articles. So you just go to Ergo Keyboards, and then there is expose. All the information and review and details are there, okay? That is this keyboard. And the other one is automatic hacking. I talked about this tens of times in my video. Okay, so back to advent of code. I recommend Expose. Okay, well, it's one of the keyboard I recommend. You should go out and buy it now. Okay, so but let's do advent of code today. Okay, so copy the paste, copy paste, copy the link here, go here, close. Okay, yesterday's solution, advent of code number 2. Let's copy that here because we need the code to solve it from yesterday. So here is the Wolfram language code, and here is Wolfram language. Again, I have a tutorial on my website. Just search for Xali WolframLang. You'll find complete tutorials and video tutorials in the past. Rennie Yo, do you find the advent of code problems to be typical or atypical of common problems encountered in software development? Well, basically all these exercises, basically all of them, including, something became popular today. You have Lead Code, that's a website that, so Lead Code is a website that's all basically programming exercises or toy problems. And then you have Euler project, which is also programming problems, simple. Euler project, I believe that's what it's called. Okay, let's have a look about project Euler. Okay, Euler is a mathematician. Okay, so you go there, so that's another website for all sort of programming problems. Advent of a code once a year, Euler project, and there's another one called Lead Code. That's a Malan Jen Zoomers thing, idiotic. Okay, you see, they advertise themselves as the world's leading something crap. Okay, let's turn on JavaScript. This idiotic website, if you don't have JavaScript, they won't show. But once you turn it on, that JavaScript is the conduit of Trojan horse. They can track you. They know everything you do, including which part you are looking at, where do you pause and all that. So anyway, Lead Code, some Zoomer, they want to cope in life, the fucking idiotic. So they create, the website, they make money. Money is the key. Money makes the world go around. Okay, everything is money. So they create this pretty good website, and also not too bad, So all these websites, they are programming exercise websites. Euler code, Project Euler usually focus on mathematical problems, like find the prime number or things like that. You deal with numbers. Lead Code is just I've done like one of them. It's just programming problems. All these problems, including advent of code, they are toy problems. Okay, they are toy problems, or used to be called programming exercise. Okay, and if you want to be dramatic, you can call it, programming challenge. Or sometimes on the YouTubers, they want to, you want a job, right? You want to get into Google, lots of money, free food, Facebook, and all that, So they allow YouTubers, these Zoomers, scammers. These days, the Zoomer generation have a jargon. They call it grifters. You just go on YouTube, you make something dramatic every day so that you got lots of viewers, followers, 1 million, and you become a millionaire. And what they talk about is just shit. They talk about drama and shit every day. So that's wasting your time. So anyway, so all these are toy problems. Do they have anything to do with real life? No, almost nothing whatsoever to do with real life coding problems. However, toy problems are very important and useful in the sense that they help you learn a language. You can go to Python tutorial. There's 100 by Pajit. That's another word I learned. By lower level, Indian people, they don't know what they're doing. Tons of it, or they all these scam websites, or not technically scam, but idiotic, they are trying to make money. That's money. Okay, they run ads. They're trying to make money, but their information is usually low quality. So anyway, so there are a lot of tutorials on Python, JavaScript, particularly these languages. So when you learn, you can just read it, but that doesn't help. You need to actually put hands-on experience. So Advent of Code is one of the website that helps you. You need to practice. So, but ultimately, it's for beginners. Okay, the Advent of Code, Lead Code, Project Order, those are all for beginners. Let's say, for young people, for students, many of you are. Hey, Ethan. Ethan is a mathematician I want to mention. Ethan is a great guy. So Ethan knows stuff. I believe that's who you are, right? Ethan on my XR Discord. So, my followers are very diverse. A lot of you guys are young people, college students or teenagers or so-called NEET or whatever, meme posting Chan, a lot of people. But I also have certain percentage that are professionals and mathematicians, and I really appreciate those people. And of course, a lot of my followers are also not programmers, but they are into keyboards. They are into all sort of keyboards. Okay, so because I have a huge website, so keyboard ergonomics, mouse, what's the deal with them? Which one is better? Ergonomics, what to do when you have hand pen. Lots of us have hand pen. So so I also have a lot of people who are into keyboard. They are not really programmers. So my audience is pretty diverse, and they are all over the earth. Some are in Europe, in Africa, Canadian, China. So anyway, so I hope that answered the question. All these website toy problems. Okay, so let me mention. So besides all these websites of toy problems, I myself did a lot, because when you are very interested in programming, such as me and many of you, you are obsessive. You want to, especially the beginning few years, you are trying to, what's the best way to, given a list, let's say you want to partition into sublist, what's the best way to do it in whatever language, in Python or JavaScript or Wolfram language, Golang. You do that a lot. There are forums even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, news groups. So, for example, in the 1990s, I was doing these kind of problems all day and every day with Wolfram language. What's the most elegant way? Sometimes people, you post a snippet, how can I improve this to be, there are many judgments. Okay, let me talk about judgment of the code. There are many criteria to judge a piece of code. For example, here is a solution to yesterday's Advent of Code problem, number 2, day 2, the first problem, okay? So it looks like that. But how do you judge? For example, in a programming competition, so there are, I'll just simplify. There are 2 primary criteria to judge a piece of code. Doesn't matter what language it is. One is speed, okay, or efficiency, algorithmic efficiency. So given a solution in one specific language, you want to come out with a code that's the fastest than them all. Given the input is a million, a billion, usually a billion is too large, but usually 10 input length is 10 or 100 or 1,000. Your code, if fast, speed, okay. Speed also usually include algorithmic complexity. The computer science jargon, algorithmic complexity that measures the growth rate. Well, anyway, we're getting into another topic. So there's algorithmic complexity, which measures memory consumption and also the number of steps your code is doing. It measures the proportion of those things with respect to the input size, the ratio. So when the input size grows, it measures how much your memory consumption grow and or your number of instructions grow. So if the input size grows linearly, but your memory consumption goes exponentially, that means your algorithmic complexity of your solution is very bad. It's very bad, okay? Depending on the problem. But anyway, so one criteria to judge which code is better is this. You can simplify the algorithm complexity. Let's just say speed. It's just to measure the speed of the code, okay? You have to try different input size, okay? So so let's see whose code is the fastest when the input is huge. Okay, that's one thing. The other criteria is to judge a piece of code is the elegance of the code or brevity. Okay, so in other words, a rough measure is how many characters. How many characters does your code contain in comparison to another solution of the same language? Okay, important, it must be the same language because different language, the brevity is different. Okay, so to summarize, how do you judge a quality of a piece of code? One, efficiency or speed. There are many technical details or algorithmic complexity, but in summary, let's just say efficiency and speed. That's one criteria. The other criteria is the elegance of your code or brevity of your code, which may also include readability. Anyway, we're getting complex because readability is not necessarily brevity. Because, for example, you have obfuscated competition or programming golf. Programming golf is a competition where you can write the shortest program to solve a problem. Shortest means the count of number of characters. So, for example, this one, if we do count of characters, okay, 199 characters. But then we can shorten the variable names. For example, this function, I named it, 20 characters. Let's change it to 1. So there's a lot issues, details. But basically, again, efficiency, speed, brevity of the code, and readability, and also elegance. That's basically how do you judge the criteria to judge, a piece of code solution, okay? So you want to, all these are important issues as a student of a programming language. You want to master the language so you know which construct is what is its level of efficiency and how to write the same thing in a shorter way and more readable. So but efficiency and speed is the most important. Efficiency, okay, efficiency of the code. Okay, so yesterday, here's a solution. So let's So I'm starting to talk on and on. So I hope this video do not end like yesterday, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, so let's start to solve this problem. Anyway, I'm gonna just be relaxed. So if you are watching this offline, you can skip around, or it's probably boring, or make it play at speed 1.5 or something. Okay, so you young people, there are many false beliefs because you guys read too much shit, today, especially today, online, Reddit, Hacker News, it's all bullshit. So first of all, I would recommend you guys stop reading any of those. 4chan, Reddit, Hacker News, or almost any other. Stop reading them, okay? You can do it, stop reading them. That's what I say. Because you guys, many of the young people, they're full of idiotic, wrong information. So here's the question. I thought lead code is good if you want to get a job. No, that's what the guy is trying to sell, because programming, to get a job is basically essentially the goal for just about everyone when you are young, when you are a student, when you are, So lead code will advertise themselves. Oh, if you do this, you're gonna get a job. No, okay? You do lead code, you never get a job, okay? So let me put out something positive. So how do you get a job? Master a language. These programming problems, toy problems are very fun and communal. So like right now what I'm doing, I can talk to you guys. It's fun, we can explore and chat, but that's not how you get a job, okay? It does help you learn a programming language, but if you really want to get a job, I recommend, once you know the basics of a language, create a website, create your own project, okay? I don't know what project, there are so many, many of you into games or writing a game engine, learn how to program a game. Some of you into cyber security, which is not about programming, but about lots of knowledge and admin stuff. Some of you are into networking, that's another giant topic, so there are many ways to go, but I recommend once you know the basics of the language, focus on one language, okay? One that if you want a job, if your goal is to start a career, okay, for you young people there, if your goal is to begin you want to get a job so you can stay comfort, unlike me, who's been very bad. So you want to get a job, so you learn the basics of the language. Once you know it, you start a project, big or small, a project of your own, then publish that project, make it polished, make it useful. Try to the more useful to other people, the better, okay? Some like Facebook, for example, Zuckerberg, which is a scum, a human scum, okay? But he, when he's young, he created a project, and that now becomes the one of the richest people in the world. So do something like that. You can try to do that. Create your own project, okay? Not forever, in these programming games or competitions, so you can prove to other teams that, oh, I solved more problems than you. That's idiotic, okay? Just do some project that's useful. And your own, that's also important. You do this advance of code, that's you are contributing for someone else's success. Now, by the way, I respect this guy, advance of code, he's apparently a Christian, and he, I respect the guy, very good, okay? But what I'm saying is that once you know the programming language, you want to start your own project, and real life code, that's the difference, okay? Some of you ask what's the difference, are these represent real life code? No, not at all. Okay, so but once you start a project, that becomes real life code. You started to learn lots of things that's not fun. Okay, this programming exercise, lead code, advent of code, project ULA, that's kind of fun and toy. That's why they are fun. But once you start to do a real life project, you have to learn database, different protocols, different you have to read tons of documentation. Some of them doesn't exist. So that's real life coding. Okay, real life coding is almost basically never like this lead code or whatever. Okay, never like it. And what about interview? Okay, yeah, interview. They sometimes show these toy problems, but if you have real life coding experience, all these toy problems becomes toys to you. Okay, so don't just like, oh, I'm going to master lead code and so I can get a job, I can pass interview. No, you're gonna fail. Okay, you want to pass interviews, there's no easy way, just like losing weight. Okay, you want to pass interviews, master a language, do a real life project of your own, put it on GitHub or whatever, and make it satisfy a need other people need. Do that. Okay, so we just random chatted for almost an hour. So let's start to do coding then. Okay, so yesterday rock paper scissors. So I need to. Okay, let me just take my time and do it. So we already did 30 minutes. Okay, so yesterday the problem is rock scissors paper, a twisted with a twist, a variation of it. Okay, so I solved it by using modular arithmetics. Oh, let me mention one more thing. So as far as programming problem goes, like I said, in the 90s, I did tons of them every day, just trying to come up solutions for list manipulation and things like that. For example, and I have I have written quite a lot, about 10 not many, 10 or 20 programming exercises on my website. So here's one of them, very interesting. Programming problem: construct a tree given its edges. This is written in 2014 when I was dying of hunger. I don't know what I was doing. I was like many of you guys, you might say it's a mental problem. So I know programming very well. I know mathematics. I'm bright. I can do the problem, but I failed in life in some sense. Okay, so this is a problem given to me at Google. I was trying to do an interview and I did miserable. But anyway, I'm not going to go into details because it's a very shitty interview. And the guy, don't know what he's doing. Very bad experience in my personal life. But in any case, I documented this problem, and I wrote a solution after the interview. And then I asked other people to come up with solutions. So here is my solution, which is one of the most efficient. Okay, Okay, this Google interview problem. But there are always better programmers than you, just like in everything else. Okay, so there's a guy who created a Python solution. This guy, Tin Yu Lin, okay, a Chinese guy, he created a Python solution that's more efficient than mine, and shorter than mine too, and more readable than mine. My approach is top-down approach, and actually I spent 5 hours to write this code. 5 hours after the interview. I failed. I failed the interview, but after that, I've spent 5 hours. Took me 5 hours to create a solution. But then someone else, this guy, he has a solution that's faster than mine, simpler to understand, better algorithm, okay, and shorter. So fantastic, okay, by Tin Yu Lin. Then there are other bunch of other solutions, that's typically online. They don't know what they are doing. They are far more like a magnitude inefficient. If you give it, the input is 1,000 length, then they took an hours and things like that, So lots of other solutions by Young, timing comparison, and solution in Emacs Lisp, that's fun. Then solution in Closure Lisp, solution in Shane Lisp. Shane Lisp is one of the, advanced Lisp created by this Mark Tower, a very strange guy. Then solution in, it was on Newsgroup, comp.lang.lisp about 7 years ago. Okay, and in fact, the problems about tree construction, I have actually, that's one of the things I'm an expert of. So I did a lot of that tree construction. Anyway, so that's one of my article about programming toy problems. Okay. So let's go back to yeah, sure, Ethan, you can submit new solutions. Usually, I have a lot to do though. So if you submit, I'll probably look into it. But I got so many other things to do. I really shouldn't be doing this advent of code. But since I started, I thought, I should finish, go all the way. Because I do have a lot, I never liked programming exercises because my opinion is that there are so many, basically infinite number of problems that are not solved, okay? Unsolved problems in programming, in humanity, in mathematics. So once you know the language, spend your time to solve something that's not solved. Okay, not these programming toys. That's fun, yeah. But for example, on my website, I have a huge amount of things I need to do. Okay, so let me show you an example. What is this Project Euler lead code? This young people's thing. So, for example, what I want to do with Wolfram language is really to get back get back to mathematics. Okay, so these are the things I need to do. Many of them are out of date. I mean, well, not really, but it would be nice to upgrade them. I wrote all this 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was the most popular website for mathematics. Okay, so for about 10 years. From 1997 to 2007. So for about a decade, many of my math website is the most popular, linked by all universities, over 10,000. Okay, I have a history of links and so on. So remember, this is 20 years ago. Okay, so you have animations. It was in QuickTime, but QuickTime, that format became obsolete, so I changed them to GIF. So this is very old, but all these are done 20 years ago. So mathematics, that's what I was doing when I was young. So I hope you do, maybe it's a good advice that you guys do something similar, something make something. This is a very useful resource for students of math, calculus, that's why it's linked by many university departments. Okay, so but this is kind of old. You see, the images are very small, and the Mathematica package is quite outdated. Outdated by basically 20 years. So what I really my passion is about geometry visualization and mathematics. Okay, so that's what I really want to do. There are tens of pages. This is Rose curve. So that's what I want. I need to work on. Not the advent of code. Another thing is I need to get, just like you guys, I need to get more focused. Different personality. I'm not a very focused guy, so I go over places. So anyway, so so let me show you some of that. So for example, gallery of surfaces, this is differential geometry. It'll take you a few years to understand them, differential geometry. So, although I mostly do programming on my YouTube, which I'm an expert, and but compared to mathematics, programming is much more easier. Okay, mathematics it's not easy. This is also why you don't see a lot of bullshit on math, but you see tons of bullshit on programming, like patterns, OOP, or object oriented, agile, or this way, that language, is this language better, Rust, tons of crap, something injection by the Martin Fowler crackpot. I consider him, anything he says is a crackpot. It's bullshit. Martin Fowler and Agile and whatever, and unit testing, or a new library in Python, in JavaScript or whatever. In programming, it's filled with this garbage. Okay, but not so much in math, because math is difficult and very precise. You can't just bullshit. You can't just bullshit some methodology or new paradigm or whatever. There are some math crackpots, but much less. So these are the things I'm really passionate about. That's what that I need to spend time, especially with Wolfram language. Wolfram language is very suitable for doing these kind of things. So all that. Okay. I think we are starting to lose track. So let's talk about advent of code then. So hopefully next 30 minutes, let's make some progress here. So problem number 2. So it's about rock, paper, scissors. And I'm using modular arithmetics. Here is a solution. This is the main body of the solution. And I can make the whole thing one line, of course. That's the power of Wolfram language. Okay, and there is a part 2. So it says, now that, let's move this here so you can see. It says, now that you've correctly, now that you are correctly decrypting the ultra top secret strategy guide, you would get a total score of 12. What? Okay, part 2. So I'm just gonna take my time to read it, okay? Part 2, the elf finishes helping with the tent and sneaks back over to you. Elf says, anyway, the second column says how the round needs to end. X means you need to lose. Y means you need to end the round in a draw. And X means you need to win. Good luck. Okay, so they changed the meaning of X, Y, Z. Let's see how. Let's write it down, okay? So maybe I'm starting to get boring, so you can skip around or whatever. So X means you want to lose, okay? Y means they change the meaning. Z means okay. The total score is still calculated in the same way, but now you need to figure out what shape to choose, so the round ends as indicated. The total score is still calculated the same way, okay? So each line, there are two letters, okay? The first letter is A or B or C, and that's the first player. The second letter is X, Y, or Z, that's the second player, okay? And you are the second player. So now it says X means lose, Y means draw, Z means win. Okay, so each line you have a score. But now they changed the meaning of X, Y, Z. The total score is still calculated in the same way, but now you need to figure out what shape to choose, so the round ends as indicated. Okay, so the score we previously calculated is the same. But now the XYZ, the second column, becomes a variable. What? Wait, what? The example above goes like this, okay? In the first round, your opponent will choose rock. Okay, it's whatever. Let's copy this, okay? Let's copy this and write it out. So first round is AY. So Y is draw. So if you are given the line AY, so that means so you also choose rock. So Y is a draw. So A is rock. So what you want to do is also A. This gives you a score of 1 plus 3. Why? Because rock have a score of 1, and 3 is a score of draw. So 1 plus 3 equals to 4. So I don't quite get it. So before X, Y, Z, Y means X is rock, Y is Caesar. So before you have 1, 2. God, this problem is complicated. And you lose. You lose means 0. So your score is 2 before. Is that right? Let's try it. So that's how we compute. So actually, let's see. So before, if you have a line AY, then your score is 8, because Y is a score of 2, and Y beats A. Rock, paper, Caesar. So yeah, So paper is 2. Paper is 2. So A is rock. So you beat the first player. Therefore, your score is you win. So if you win, you have a score of 6. Plus, you choose Y, which is paper. So you have a score of 2. So 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, that's a second. That's a day 2 problem. First problem. So that's why you have 8. But now they changed the meaning of Y. So they are saying that it must be a draw. It must be a draw so that you also choose rock. Rock is X. So therefore your new score is 4. I don't quite get it. They changed the meaning. So okay, so let's read on. But wait, let's focus on this. So you need it to end in a draw. So you also choose rock, okay? This gives you a score of 4. So what does it imply? So in the second round, your opponent will choose paper B. Okay. Your opponent chooses B, and you choose rock X with a score of 1 plus 0 equals to 1. So paper and rock, so you lose, so you get 0. But however, because you put rock, so your score is 1. So 1 plus 0 is 1, okay? In the third round, you defeat your opponent's Caesar with a rock, blah, blah, blah. So the third case is CZ, okay? And therefore you win, and plus wait, the Z, XYZ, Z is Caesar. The third round, you will beat your opponent Caesar. That's not correct. This, the advent of code, although it's a well-written problem, but I think their description needs to be improved, because sometimes it's a bit hard to understand. In the third round, you will defeat your opponent's Caesars with rock for a score of 1 plus 6. But that's not the case, because previously, the third round, your opponent put out C. C means Caesar, okay? So it says in the third round, you will defeat your opponent's Caesar. That's right, Caesar, with rock, okay? But what you actually put out is Z. So XYZ. So Z means you are putting out Caesar too, right? So Caesar versus Caesar, that's a draw. So, but here it says you will defeat your opponent's Caesar. Oh wait, so because they changed the meaning of the second column, so Z here means draw. What? Right, the new meaning, right? The new meaning. Z means win. Okay, so now Z means win. So in order to win, you need to put out rock, which is X. so you win. So okay, so whatever, yeah, blah blah blah. Now that you are correctly decrypting the ultra top secret strategy guide, you would get a total score of 12. Okay, so that's 4 plus 1 plus 7. That's 12, okay? Following the elf's instructions for the second column, what would your total score be? If everything goes exactly according to your strategy guide. And this idiotic problem. So they changed the meaning of the second column. So you need to basically throw away all that has been said about the second column, where x equals to rock, y equals to paper, and z equals to Caesar. So forget about all of that. But now it just XYZ indicates lose, draw, and win. Okay, lose, draw, and win. Lose, draw, and win. And so what is the question asked? So your problem is actually just compute the total score. Okay, so just like yesterday, you write a function that compute each line. Okay, so you write a function compute each line. Now the new issue is that the second column, they have a different meaning. Okay, now I know and I understand. So the second column indicates lose, draw, or win. So the second column now has a score because lose means 0, draw means 3, score of 3, win means 6. So the second column, the letter, contributes a score to this function, the final result. So you want to, previously you just add y. Okay, so let's start to modify this line. So let's start to write code. Okay, so we are making progress now. It's so let's say F2 compute line. Okay, compute line 2. So now x, y, we can say previously we converted y to either 0 or 1 or 2 previously. If it's x, then it's 0. If it's y, this is what we have before. XYZ. So before it was like that. But now there's a new value for each. Okay. The new value is that Z is for win. Is that correct? Okay, so go back. So X lose, Y draw, and win. Okay, so we can add let's write them down. So let's go slowly and solidly, so we don't end up like yesterday, spending so much time. Okay, so here is the meaning of a second column. They contribute to a score. Okay, back to code. Okay, so now this y is so before we have why is that, we can use yesterday's code. So now it's just y plus y times 3. Okay, so here y times 3, and we don't need plus 1 anymore. Okay, that's win, draw, lose. I mean, lose, draw, win. Okay, so now y times 3 is what we want. Okay, and what else? So now we know, and now you need to find out, now you need to find out what number to use to beat your opponent, and use that shape's score. Okay, so okay, not difficult. We are almost done. So you need to determine what you need to put out. So what you need to put out is very easy. Is y is x plus 1. Okay, x plus 1 and mod. So let's write it out. Okay, x plus 1 mod 3. That is a number between 0, 1, and 2. And this is the number you need to put out to beat your opponent. Okay, and so 0 represents rock, 1 represents paper, 2 represents Caesar. Okay, but what is their score for each one of them? 1, 2, 3, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. So all you have to do is that plus 1. So all you have to do, okay, that plus 1, that's it. Okay, so wait, let's do that. That's our new function. I'm pretty sure it'll work. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So now we got a new function. I'm pretty sure it will work. Okay. This new function, fComputeLine2. So now, when you have an input, you change them to numbers, turn them into numbers, into a sublist, a list of numbers. Then you call compute line 2. Okay, that should get you the answer. Okay, copy all. Now let's clean up the code. You need to also, just for better maintenance. Okay, that's it. So select all, paste, and evaluate. Do it. 15. Okay, let's see if it's correct. Incorrect. Okay, the new result should be 12. Okay, that's incorrect. Close, I think. Okay, so anyone still watching, say something. Are you watching me? You know, are you learning some coding stuff with WolframLang? Okay, so now our logic is wrong somewhere because we got 15, but the correct answer is 12 for this example input. Okay, so first of all, it says the result should be 417. Let's see. 417. I got 537. So something wrong. Dragon Dog, hello. So we got it wrong. Let's find out what is wrong. Okay. Let's revisit our logic. So make a backup. So you see, so the problem is a lot about understanding it. In the first round, your opponent will choose rock. Okay. In the first round, your opponent chooses rock, and you need the round to end in a draw. Okay, I think our logic is wrong. So you needed XYZ. So what is XYZ again? X is lose, Y is draw, Z is win. You need to memorize it. Okay, lose, draw, win. So lose, draw, win. So Y means draw. So when it's draw, so what are we doing? So so before XYZ is 1, 0, 1, 2. That's how we converted the XYZ value to 0, 1, 2. And so first of all, let's compute the lose, draw, win. So all you have to do is multiply by 3. That's right. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 0 is 0. So that represents your lose, draw, win score. So that would be here, Y times 3. Right. That's correct. But so why is this incorrect then? So then you need to find out what do you need to put out in order to beat X. So X has the value of, the first column, which is ABC. So ABC also becomes 0, 1, 2, which is the X value here. So in order to beat it, if the opponent is 0, you need to come out with 1. If the opponent is 1, you need to come out with 2. If the opponent come out 2, you need to use 0 to beat it. So how do you get those values? So we can try to write this out. So to beat opponent, to beat enemy. Enemy is easier word. So you basically just do that. 1, 2, and 0. Okay, that's what you need to do. So in order to get this value, in order to create a function that maps 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 0, all you have to do is you do modular arithmetics. So the input plus 1, for example, 0 plus 1 is 1, and mod 3 is also, so let's see, so the input, if the input is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, mod 3 is also 1. So that means you come out with 1 to beat it. Okay. Now if the input is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 mod 3 is also 2. So that's correct. Now if the enemy uses 2, then 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 mod 3 is 0. So that's also correct. So the right side is what you need to put out. But now you need to convert those to the score. So rock, paper, scissors in that order. Okay, 0, 1, 2 has a score of 1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. You know, the order of this game is different in how we Chinese call it. So in English, it's rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. In Chinese, it's 剪刀石头布. So in Chinese, it's 剪刀石头布. So you know, I have to because that's how I grew up with it. But in English, you call rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So rock, paper, scissors, each one has a score of 1, 2, 3. So in order to convert what you put out, we are using 0, 1, 2. So you just add 1, right? Yeah, you add 1. So if you put out 1, your actual score would be 1 here means rock, paper, which has a score of 2. So you just add 1. Yeah, so I don't see why is the logic incorrect? English language is soulless. So what do you think? What about the logic? Do you think where did I go wrong? Did you do this problem? So let's read the problem again. It's nasty. So I really need to think. I don't want to end up like 2 more hours. Okay. You know, sitting too long, I need to get up and walk. I usually do that every 2 hours. So it says the answer should be 816. So where did I do wrong? Why is the first one 8? The first one is 8 because, so the first input is AY. And Y means win. No, Y means draw. So the first one, AY, so it needs to draw. It needs to draw. So it needs to draw. So A choose rock. Your enemy chooses rock. Rock is represented by 0. What? AYBXCZ, that's an example input. That's correct. AYBXCZ. So A is rock. So it says the first round your opponent will choose rock A. Okay, correct. and you should choose paper. This ends in a win for you. Why should I choose paper? Y indicates a draw. You know, this fucking problem. I thought Y now indicate this. Is this the second one or the first one? Oh, part 2. Fuck. Shit. Okay, here. So the proper solution is 417, okay? 417. Which is, I got it wrong. I got 537, okay? So why is the first one 4? Well, it says the first round, your opponent will choose rock A. Okay, that's right. And you need the round to end in a draw. Y. That's right, because Y represent a draw. So I want it to be a draw. Y. So you also choose rock. Okay? And this gives you a score of 1 plus 3 equals to 4. Why? Because 1 is rock and 3 is a draw. So therefore 1 plus 3 equals to 4. So the first round, the solution should be 4. I got it wrong. Now why? Where did I went wrong? Okay, let's check. So opponent is rock. In my system, that's 0. Okay. So you need the round to end in a draw. That's right, because of Y. So you also choose rock. So that means I also choose 0. So in our solution here, mod x1 plus mod x1 mod 3. So opponent is rock. So this x is 0. 0 plus 1 is 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 mod 3 is 1. Wait, okay, so I see where the logic is wrong. You need it to be a draw. Okay, but however, this formula is always a win. That's where it's wrong. This formula is always to come out something that wins. Okay, but it's not, you need to be a draw. So this x shouldn't be x. This x should be, okay, yeah, I found the problem. So you need to be either lose, draw, or win. So first of all, you need to determine what you want to be: lose, draw, or win. Lose, draw, or win. Lose, draw, or win. Okay, let's memorize it. Lose, draw, or win. So let's write it out. Okay, so lose, draw, or win. So that also means, so if you want to win, the solution is x plus 1 mod 3. Okay, that's a solution for winning. Okay, let's put it there. Okay, now if you wanted to draw, then you just need x, the same as your enemy. If you want to lose, x minus 1 mod 3. Okay, yeah, so that's x minus 1 plus 3. That's right. Modular arithmetics, very powerful. Now we got a picture. Lose, draw, win. Let's double check. Lose your opponent, whatever your opponent, minus 1. I think that's correct. Draw is the same as your opponent, and win is, yeah, so which formula to use depends on what is y should be. Win, lose, draw, win. Yeah, so here, so all we have to do is modify this part, then plus 1, because that represents a score of whatever you put up. Okay, so how can we, now the problem is, how can we turn this into a closed form math formula? You know, another, we can do this by a switch statement or conditional. You know, if y is 0, if y is 2, if y is 1, then we do this. That's a typical programmer solution. But in this case, there's an elegant solution because we are using modular arithmetics. So this should be able to be consumed into one formula. Okay, let's see how to do it. Yeah, so very easy. So all we have to do is yeah, so this can be consumed into one formula, and my solution is gonna beat them all. Okay, my solution is gonna be the most efficient of all solutions, I can tell you right away, including our solution for the first problem. Now let me digress a little bit, you know, because I'm doing the advent of code for the first time. Their problem specification is not 100% exact, because they never mentioned whether the input is a string or not. You know, I was just assuming it's a string. So, but if you assume it's a string, then you have to do a lot string manipulation first. You need to turn the string, you know, into a list of lists, then turn them into numbers. That's extra step. But nowhere in the problem description says that the input is a string. You see, so therefore, in order to make your, and also they don't require you to submit your code, so they do not do any sort of you know, all they require is that you give them the number as a solution. Doesn't matter how you get it. You know, you can ask your friend what's a, you know, in a sense. They don't actually require you to post the code. Also, they do not specify if the input should be a string or whatever. You know, in fact, they do not require you to actually write a function as a solution. In fact, you can write, you know, using bash or whatever procedural, you know, lots of variables to get the same answer. Or in fact, you can use Emacs. Let me, you know, for example, you don't need to actually like write a standalone program. You can just start with empty buffer and just these numbers, and just, for example, replace a by 0. You know, when you have a huge input, you just replace, you know, do find replace a by 0 and do interactive using Emacs. You can do that. Yeah, I should demonstrate that some other time. So it doesn't require the input to be a string. It doesn't require you to write a function. It doesn't require any of that. All it requires is that you have the answer, okay, a number. So my code here is actually standalone. So that's actually doing a lot preparation, which I don't need to, because that'll make it much simpler. So I don't have to think about string conversion and all that. Anyway, let's go back to fix this. So what I'm saying is just that the advent of code doesn't actually require you to submit a code or anything. It just requires the answer. So the essence of this is that you just need to have a way to solve this, typically in a programmable way, but not necessarily standalone program. Okay, so and the meaning of that is that you can use a spreadsheet if you want. You know, you can just use a spreadsheet. So that's entirely different ways of computation. Or you can get fancy, you know, going into computer science. You can write a cellular automata to solve this problem. That would be interesting. Okay, but anyway, back to this. So we know what's the issue now. So we need to convert this. So the input we need a function. Let me think about it. We'll get to it. Okay. Lose, draw, win. Lose, draw, win. Let me just memorize 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. So let's combine. So let's write this. Okay, let's combine this into our system, and we don't need that neither. Okay. Make them into one single thing. Okay, so now it's much easier to understand. So lose, draw, win. Lose, draw, win. Okay, so you see the difference between these formula, three formulas. One is -1, one is 0, and one is +1. So that corresponds with 0, 1, 2 very well. So all you have to do is add a y here. So y will be -1. That's right. So all you have to do is add -1 in this formula. Let me show you. Okay. Plus y -1. And -1 plus 1 cancel out, so you don't need that anymore. So now here is our new formula. Okay. Copy it. Do it. That's still incorrect. Shit, you need to think about this. Come on. 528. 528. It should be 417. Okay, that's still incorrect, but very close now. Okay. Oh, you have a +3. So actually, so it's all +3. Okay, maybe I forgot that. Okay. So 036. I'm gonna read the comments in a bit. So XYZ, lose, draw, win, lose, draw, win. Lose, draw, win, -1, 0, +1. So y -1. So actually y -1. I think that's right. Okay. $417. Come on, please. 417.12. Correct. Okay, here is the most efficient solution to this problem. You know, we can simplify the formula here because you see -1 plus 3. We can just make it plus 2, but that's the most I declare. I can tell you, I declare this is the most efficient solution. Okay, for the problem number 2. Okay, we don't need that one anymore. Okay, let's just clean our code. Okay, now I'm pretty sure. Are you certain? Yes, I'm certain. Now let's get our input. Okay, we got the input yesterday. So where's the input? So let's do it here. Select or paste. Okay, 417.12. Check example input. Check. Now let's get our input from yesterday. So yesterday there is a big input. What? Here. Okay, so let's go to it. Talk yesterday. Okay, here, advent of code. So that's the input. Okay, huge. Okay, copy it. New, paste, evaluate. Okay, we got the input. Close, 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 copy it. Okay, make a new Wolfram language and remove the input, remove that. Okay, so compute it. Paste, compute. A big list. Okay, here is our solution, 13131. Now pray to God I don't get this wrong. Am I sure? Yes, I'm sure. Submit. That's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to collecting enough star fruits. Fuck you. Hefty buffer, thank you for help yesterday, but today it's smooth. A bit smoother, much more smoother than yesterday. So far we talked for 90 minutes. I think that's it. Okay. So can we go into the problem number 3? Can we go into problem number 3? Yes, I think so. Okay, let me clean up and let's see what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll go into problem number 3, or maybe we'll just be it today. Okay. Okay, let's clean up the XR Talk Show. So that's today, Advent of Code, day 2. Second problem, ergonomic keyboards. Here is day 2 solution, basically that single line. And here is some explanation of the problem. Quite tedious. Okay, so let's delete that. We don't need that. Okay, so that's it for that. Let's see what else. Let me do clean up and okay. So are we going to do the next one, or are we going to say goodbye for today? Let's close this. Clean up. Don't save. Okay. Okay, let's read the comments and let's see where we go. Can we submit new solution? Oh yeah, so Ethan, yeah. So JR says, do you plan on doing a ChatGPT programming stream or strictly Wolfram? I can do ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very interesting. And okay, let me talk random then, okay? Because talking random is always fun. And I can advertise my website stuff. Because usually there are so many topics, including politics, a lot of people would be interested, in my opinion. And but half of you, you don't watch, many young people. That's a situation with YouTube. Many newcomers, they don't spend much time. But no, that's not my point. I mean, okay. So I want to talk about ChatGPT. Okay, so I recommend you watch one of my video here. Okay, Talk Show 2022, 12/5. DuckDuckGo search, QQI AI drawing, OpenAI poem, and some politics. Okay, Tim Pool, Lawrence Southern, and Emacs 29 code formatting. So you go watch that one. So my opinion, I made a claim that the year 2023 is the real beginning of artificial intelligence. I mean, there's a milestone. So today, I have been observing AI for the past 30 years since I started programming. That's why I'm interested in Lisp and in Wolfram language, because Lisp is the granddaddy of artificial intelligence research. That's how Lisp, a big industry, artificial intelligence, Lisp, in the 1980s mostly, sponsored by U.S. Department of Defense, military, serious stuff. And internet is also part of from it. That's how internet got developed. Military, basically indestructible communication system. That was internet originally what it is about, indestructible communication system. Like you can bomb, like telephone network or whatever, you can bomb this, not that, but done. And you don't have phones anymore, doesn't work anymore. Not so with internet. So internet, you can destroy this, not that, it still works, because of the packet swarm. It's quite a technology, internet. Packet swarm. They blindly follow local rules and essentially keep the communication still going. You can have many nodes destroyed and it still works. That's the original concept of internet. Okay, indestructible communication, basically. But today, because of a giant corporation, it's all controlled. So it might be different today, in some sense. Okay, so that's about internet. So I'm making a claim. So that's artificial intelligence is how I'm very interested in that topic. I've talked about AI in my past videos too. You can, again, let me say, you go to ksali.code and there's a search. This will search all 7,000 titles of my website. So you can type AI, for example. You'll find all the titles containing this the word AI, but closure, function chaining, mantra board, set explained, state of affairs of DVD rippers. That's 20 years ago. What is algebraic data type? That's a lousy article. Brainfuck language, end of file design problem. That's brainfuck is it's a idiotic language. One of those language that was created to mean to be a very difficult, incomprehensible thing. However, I learned something very fundamental from brainfuck. Because one time I was doing homework for someone else. You pay me, I do homework for you. $100, okay? $100 for like 2 hours. You pay me, I do homework for you. So one day I got, I was dying of hunger, pretty sad story. You won't understand. So, but I was doing brain fog, and I learned something critical because I was never because my interest is high level programming, mathematics, foundation of mathematics, logic. What I'm not interested is code diddling, like the C++, Unix idiots. They are type, this hacker, they are interested in code diddling, machine code, compiler, memory, you need to manipulate memory, malloc or whatever, fuck, okay? I'm not interested in those things. I'm interested in high-level programming and proof systems, type theory, Haskell, for example. How do you, high-level mathematics, combinators, lambda calculus, theoretical computer science. That's what I'm interested in. So when it comes to brain fog, it's new to me. It's new because you have to manipulate this thing, But brain fog is very fruitful to me because I started to realize how brain fog. I realized many important principles. One is that there's, many programming languages. For example, Python. They try to design it so that for any problem, there's only one way to do it. Okay, that's the most idiotic thought because it's not possible. It is not possible theoretically to have just one way to do it. You always have like different ways, and you don't know which one is more efficient because there are different issues. Okay. Anyway, so if you dive into brain fog, a lot of hackers are interested. This is a thing you guys are interested. A lot of you, CEC, the industrial programmers who don't know nothing about math or types theory, but you would be interested in brain fog. Then you can tell your teen friends, hey, brain fog, brain fog, Anyway, you try to code it, solve problems. You realize lots of the low-level algorithmic issues. So anyway, brain fog turns out was fruitful for me. So I was saying you go to Saudi search. So for example, type artificial intelligence, okay? But some of the article I didn't fully spell it out, so that's why you don't get so I have an article. This article I also considered great. Okay, this is about the nature of artificial neural network, okay, which is today's all the GPT chatbot they are using. That's their methodology. They are basically using massive statistics with 1 billion parameters, and they need to be trained. In order for today's AI to work, they first of all need massive amount of data, billion, giga billion, peta, whatever, Without that, it doesn't work. It can't do nothing. It can't do a thing. But once you have this huge amount of data, or in the case of chess or Go, it can play by itself because it can generate data on the fly. So you just let it play by itself. Then in few days, you'll beat the best chess player. That happened. Beat the best chess computer program written by human. Just by, you create this neural network thing, let it run by itself. After a few days, you beat any other computer program human has written. That happened. That's all relying on, neural network, machine learning. Okay, so you have AI, which is a huge topic, and then you have many different methodologies, approaches for the artificial intelligence. Then one of them is machine learning. And below machine learning, one of the methodologies is neural network. Okay, but there are many problems with neural network. Neural network is the most nasty because it it knows things. These AI bots, for example, the Chat GPT or others, they know things, but they cannot. It's impossible for them to tell you anything about it. How do you know what you know? They cannot tell. They cannot tell you any theory. They can, they just know. They learn things, but but by a way that's impenetrable. You cannot see how it works. You can't see how it works. It just knows stuff because of these kind of statistically based machine learning pattern recognition, prediction, So neural network is pretty nasty. I mean, not in a sense, not necessarily nasty, because it actually work. That's the point, it worked. You can, you go chess, it can beat any human or any other programming human written computers. That's a goal, So anyway, so I was trying to show, I was telling about Kasadi search and my interest in artificial intelligence, which got me interested in Wolfram language because math is my interest. Wolfram language is the best. And then also Lisp. Of course, today, artificial intelligence research is not done with Lisp. I blame the common Lisp fuckheads. Okay, that's who I blame. I blame the common Lisp fuckheads since after 1990s. You have all the common Lisp fanatics or scheme fanatics. They are the industrial programmers. They are nothing like the original common Lisp people who actually think about things. They are just the babbling. Common Lisp is the best thing. Scheme is the best thing. Emacs is the best thing. These fucking idiots. So anyway, today Lisp basically died. Okay, if you wanna do AI research, that's C++. Fucking idiots. I blame these common Lisp people because they became a code. Once you became a code, you don't have innovation anymore because you have the proper thought. If you don't agree Emacs Lisp is the best, they kick you out. The code situation, Emacs, okay? Emacs and Lisp. So Lisp is no progress, it's kind of dead. Well, maybe except Clojure, but Clojure is on Java, in the Java world. That's anyway. AI and stuff. That's it for today. So if you guys like my stuff, okay, donate to me. Okay, just go to my website, go to ksali.info and PayPal me. Okay, do that. If you want to know about Emacs theme, just search it. I have all the information on the website. Most people don't read. So Codeman Condemned 77 says, sorry for the off topic. I want to ask here regarding your Emacs tutorial. Oh yeah, sorry. So I've been delayed. There are about 3 people, so I will send it out today. Sorry about that. So because I'm trying to generate a new version. I can generate it right now, but I need to do some cleanup so you get the best version as of today. So sorry about that. Code Condemned 77. Okay, that's it for today. Bye guys.